God, isn't life funny? I just launched a GoFundMe. I called a lawyer. They said they needed $5,000 up front for me to fight these charges. Silly charges. Trespassing in my own home on first warning, on 0 warnings. Stuff like that. I'd like to talk about the letter S. I hope you enjoyed Q and R from yesterday. I hope to do 2 letter S's today. Kuntillet ajrud alphabet. These samics are huge. It's the letter S. Hebrew's got a couple S's. Samek is the one that's just S, without any of the sh. Way taller of and far below the X height and the baseline. And these ascenders and descenders have meaning, because they're still imagining these objects in the real world when they're drawing these pared back representations of them. The Jed pillar is an Egyptian symbol. It's a hieroglyph. So they borrowed the hieroglyph for the early samek. Looks totally different from today's samek. It looks like a really tall, going up, going down, honeycomb. Not a honeycomb, but like a Honigspender. One of those special honey dispensing devices. And that's because there's a few things on top of a pole. It looks like a telephone pole. I think this is what a Jed was like. There's a couple of kinds of columns. There's also support columns in Egyptian hieroglyphic. There's another one that looks just like that in Demotic that is based on the support pillar glyph, I think. And well, this one is based on the Jed, a highly symbolic symbol in all kinds of Egyptian reliefs. You see it all over the place, as commonly as you see Nefer, which is another extremely common hieroglyph that you see even in in places where people aren't necessarily literate. They know a couple of these glyphs. Maybe fixing horses to them with these ropes, or maybe building an eruv. Who knows? Maybe the Hebrew Shin of today is asymmetrical and frankly ugly. I don't know what it's supposed to represent. I don't understand what that could be a reduction from, where all letters are in some way a reduction from a more complicated shape. Do know what it used to be. Ask Brian Collis. He's got an epigraphy blog that he boosts syllabaries as being important in early Semitic scripts, which I find reasonable, yet not particularly compelling, because when you read these things syllabically, it doesn't tend to matter in Egyptian whether or not you read things as if they were a syllabary. So coming from that Egyptian milieu, I don't think the distinction between an acrophonic principle and Brian Collis is doing a great job. I love being able to refer to him for the Shaddai, meaning of the Shin. You see, it looks like a W, a couple of strokes. Collis says that this letter is the letter Shaddai, as in breast. It's a bit touchy because the name El Shaddai is used for the God of Israel. It says that that up until a certain point, the God of Israel was known as El Shaddai. They didn't know me as Yahweh yet. They knew me as El Shaddai. I don't remember what passage that was from. I'll just put it in the text right there. But the point is that it's a relevant term touchy in the religious circles, because it means God of breasts, basically. Shaddai means breast. There's nothing controversial about the actual definition. Like, Shaddai does mean breasts. Any dictionary will tell you that. In modern Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, any number of related languages, there's no controversy over the fact that Shaddai does mean, quite simply and literally, breasts very often. And that breast meaning probably is the source of the meaning for El Shaddai, but that doesn't, so it's controversial. It was clear to me from when I first started looking at these letters that this W-looking shape was representing breasts. That's what it looked like a drawing of to me. I interpreted all these letters to mean something or other, sometimes what they already think they mean, sometimes my own novel ideas. But I had an inkling that it wasn't for Shin originally, it was for Shaddai, and the letter represented breasts. It was a drawing of breasts pointed down, like a couple of mountain peaks pointed up. A real simple drawing, except they're pointed down, so you know that they're not mountains, which Shaddai can also mean. But it can also mean a plane. Now, a flat area versus, how could they have the same meaning? Because if you go back far enough, the source meaning was to extend. So an expanse of flatland, or an extension of a peak, or a human anatomy, that's how they got the unlikely combination of meanings between Sumerian. Is that enough for you? Please like me. Please subscribe me. Please donate me. I need $5,000 to hire a lawyer. Guys, this is kind of complicated stuff, and I'm not gonna be able to edit this into something very consumable right now. But this is just an introduction to this idea, and I've got much more to say about it. I can give you visual examples. I've got essays that I've written that I copy and paste, honestly. Like some of the arguments I've made about these, I could just do in. Thanks for listening. I would love to hear any scholarly feedback on if you think that this is worth, my ideas are worth considering, or my case is worth donating to. Thank you.